What's up, y'all? It's Jada Reed here, back again with another video. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you guys for watching, and if you are new here, make sure you click that subscribe button. So today, which is not normal for me, I'll be doing a sit down talk video, which I normally do vlogs. I want to just talk about my experience at Ncat, as well as how I managed to get a 4.0 through a 3.9 my entire time I've been here. Before I get into that, I want to talk about how I even got to A&T in the first place. So for starters, A&T was the first school I visited. It was the first school I applied to, and I had my mind set on it. I went to predominantly white school. So during the age of probably like 16, 15, I was like, I want to go to James Madison University. I never really heard about I never really heard about HBCUs until maybe my 12th, 11th grade year. I didn't really get the chance to be exposed to all those schools. But luckily, my first visit at A&T was like everything. Something about it felt like home, so I knew I didn't want to apply to other schools. So when I was waiting, they have rolling admissions, so usually it doesn't take long to figure out if you got in or not. It was taking longer than normal, so I started to get scared. People was asking me what my first choice was, what school I wanted to go to. I used to say A&T, but I was freaking out because I had a fear of rejection, so I started to like branch out and start like looking for different schools. So I pretty much applied and got into every HBCU, not every HBCU, but like I applied and got accepted to Hampton, North Carolina Central, Winston-Salem, Clafton, Bowie, Towson. It's the school in Maryland. It was a couple other. I applied pretty much everywhere to like broaden my options, and I even applied to a couple of PWIs, which was Johnson & Wales University, and I even applied to Virginia Tech. Out of all of them, Virginia Tech was the only one I didn't get into, but yeah. Okay, so I was waiting over time. A&T never contacted me. I was calling every day, I was emailing them, no response. So I came across a school called Johnson & Wales University. It has multiple campuses. One is in Charlotte and one is in Miami, Florida. So I got it in my head like, I want to go to Miami, Florida. So I apply, I get in, and my idea of A&T was completely out the window. I was a 12th grader, 18 years old. Like, going to Miami was a big deal because a lot of people from Richmond, unless you're an athlete, you're not going that far. So we was preparing. I went to orientation in Florida. I paid room and board, everything in Miami. And as soon as like I got settled in, why did A&T email me my acceptance letter? So I done went through all these application fees. I was just fully settled into a different school, and A&T contacted me saying I got in, and my first reaction was, what am I gonna do? Paid all this money, I feel bad, my mom had to pay all this, and my first choice let me in. So Johnson & Wales allowed me to get all my money back. God is good. And the only dilemma was that I would have to come to A&T this spring semester, and a lot was going through my head. I was thinking, I'm not gonna graduate with my right class, what's gonna happen? And I took the leap of faith, and I decided to come to A&T a semester late. So I'm gonna go into my experience now that I explained to you guys how I got here. My experience my freshman year was kind of sad. Even my sophomore year, it is really hard for transfer students and second semester freshmen to convert into going to A&T. It's a big campus, and by the time you are into your freshman year, your first semester, everybody's already clicked up with their friends. There's already groups, so it's really hard to like try to fit in, because I was trying to hang out with girls, and then their friends were like, why is she like, I don't know, I was going through a lot of like hating type stuff. Like, girls would be mad that I'm like taking their friend type situations, and then they would treat me some type of way, and the friends like, what are y'all doing? Or not even the friend even seeing that they're treating me some type of way. So that was one thing that was really hard to get adjusting to. Another thing is I stayed in Aggie Suites E. For anyone that wants to come to A&T, it was really hard because Aggie Suites E is way across from campus, so you have to walk as a freshman to your caf. And we had something called the Dome as well. It was on the other end of campus too, to eat. it was cold spring semester, so walking in the cold, I'm not used to that either. It's my first semester of college. I'm like, cannot do this. So yeah, my experience with friends was hard. I ended up meeting my close college friends. One was from Richmond, the other person is from Charlotte, and we ended up becoming close because we stayed right across from each other. That was really hard, but with grades, it kind of helped me. I did want to touch bases on how I maintained a 3.9 through a 4.0 my entire time, which was really good. Okay, so my number one tip to any freshman or either upperclassman trying to get good grades is you have to stay focused. You have to know what you want to do out of college and your goals. A lot of people are having a hard time trying to figure out what they want to do after, but I knew I wanted to be a lawyer since I came to college. I knew since even out of high school I was going to be in the field of criminal justice regardless. So with that being said, you can't go to law school with a bad GPA, so that's my first priority. I'm going to get good grades. Another thing is I didn't go out a lot. A lot of freshmen are experiencing the parties and stuff like that, and I stayed in my freshman and sophomore year. So I'm gonna say you're gonna be able to balance with good grades and being able to go out, but keeping your head in your books is like the most important thing. So yeah, I didn't go out. I knew my purpose, and like I had a planner. You need to write down everything. You need to write down due dates. You need to write down what you have to do next week, because college will sneak up on you. You have assignments on Blackboard you didn't know about. So you need to stay on top of your game with all your assignments. Another thing I want to touch bases on with being able to manage my good GPA throughout the entire time is building a relationship with all my teachers. I sit in the front of every single class, not even because I'm blind, but because I want my teachers to get a feel of who I am. I want them to know my face. I want them to know my name. Ncat is a large HBCU, but our classroom size is really good. We have about, your normal class day can be about 20 to 40 students, and then your larger classes, of course, are going to be maybe like over 100 and stuff like that. But I was able to build relationships with everyone, every last one of my professors. And that's basically how I maintained my grades, because they were able to help me if I was struggling. They would give me extra credit. They would just make sure I was in good hands. And that's why I love A&T. For all my transfer students or all my people in my DMs that's asking me my experience and should they come to A&T, yes. This school was like the best decision I made. I didn't mention earlier that Johnson & Wales is a PWI, and when I went there, I did not like it. I went to predominantly white schools since elementary school, so this was the first time I was really with my people and with black people, and just going to a college like that was not what I wanted at the moment. But I do know that once I go to HBCU for undergrad, I will be going to law school at a PWI because I want to get a feel of both experiences. But I do recommend that everyone goes to a HBCU their first 4 years of college, because it's an experience of like no other. It's like a family, you know, everybody has each other's back, especially when like someone's talking down to your school. Like, you can talk about A&T as bad as you want if you go here, but as soon as somebody else talks about them, it's a wrap. Like, it's so much support, and like the school is really big on pride, and that's why I love it. But yeah, I gave you guys how I got here, how I got good grades, my experience, and if you have any questions, please ask me because I will answer all of them. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to touch bases on. I want to talk about housing because that's a really big part of my experience too. Kind of bouncing in and out of subjects as well. So with housing, A&T split up between North Side and South Side. Obviously, South Side is going to be like the older part of the school. In tours online, or like when you view the school online, they don't show you that side because it's like the oldest buildings on campus. I stayed on the North Side my freshman year. North Side is Aggie Suites, you have Villages, and you have other housing that's like really nice, but you still are gonna get that freshman experience. People have an issue with overcapacity. Definitely, my experience, I got lucky, but I know a lot of people end up becoming homeless because there's not enough housing. They didn't fill out the housing application on time, or other like bad stuff. But other than that, I just feel like you just have to stay on it. I'm on it 24/7 when it comes to housing, but I might say something, but someone else might go through something completely different than me. So that's definitely my experience on housing. I got lucky. I got in the nicest, one of the nicest dorms on campus my freshman year, and then I moved to an apartment my sophomore year. Yeah, but I love my school. I definitely recommend anyone to come transfer, come. All HBCUs have their problems, of course, but you know, we're the best HBCU, #1 HBCU in North Carolina, of course. So I do want to tell everyone that like this was my best decision, and if you want to come, you definitely need to come. If you guys have any other questions or any other concerns you want to tell me, please either DM me on Instagram if it's more private, or either just comment below. I will answer everything. I get these questions all the time, so I was kind of like, oh, let me go ahead and do a YouTube video, because constantly being asked these questions, and I'd rather just share the link if someone asks me. But yeah, I think I covered everything. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell for updates on my next video.